Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Big hugs.
Oh,
Hey
thank you,
y'all,
Lola.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. Hello, is that Valerie? And
Howdy.
Adelina?
Yep. Hey
Hello,
ladies
everybody.
and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hi, Betty, Tammy, and Jim,
Oh,
Idaho.
Tammy and Jim,
Everybody.
hello. So
Hello,
glad you could join
everybody.
us. I hope you invited your team too.
Thank you. Yes, thanks for inviting us.
Awesome. Wonderful.
One of my favorites, just putting it out there. Love you, Tammy.
Hello, Dr. Watts.
And oh, there's Jim too.
Yep, he's
Yeah,
here.
I'm here.
Big
Yeah,
hello.
I'm jealous. He's always talking about you.
And you should be more jealous because aren't you guys in Mexico right now?
Oh,
Ah,
Yes.
Yes. Well, it's cold here, in case you're wondering.
I know, we do know.
well, good for you.
Good to see you.
All right, Gabrielle, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and give some instructions before we start. Before I introduce Dr. Watts, I want to explain the mechanics of how we're going to be running this tonight. And hold on just one second here. Okay, we're going to keep the chat open, but I'd like to ask you to please hold your questions until the very end of the class, because a lot of the questions are going to be answered during the training. We're going to ask you, we'll ask you just before the end announcements to send your questions directly to Dr. Watts in the chat, and that way he can go through and select the questions that apply to the most people. Try to keep them away from just like your personal wellness situation. Just more broad would be wonderful. After the announcements, we'll stop the recording and we're going to have a Q&A session. That's a perk for those who attended in person. So we're going to start the recording right now. Gabriella, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and start the recording.
Recording in progress.
Hi, everybody. My name is Betty Torres, and it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this very special training call on the 90-day nutritional detox with Dr. Vaughn Watts. Dr. Watts is a chiropractor and functional medicine practitioner who practiced in the Kansas City area, specializing in autoimmune, thyroid, metabolic disorders, gut dysfunction, and detoxification protocols. While in practice, Dr. Watts developed the concept of foundational medicine, which is what he terms as the precursor to functional medicine. He served as the vice president of sales at Cellcore Biosciences, and Dr. Watts is credited with catapulting the company's market share by 10 times annually in a short span of 3 years. His role was instrumental in the development and launch of Cellcore's best-selling product and the conceptualization of the groundbreaking foundational protocol. Dr. Watts is also the former Vice President of Nutritional Education at doTERRA. Unfortunately for us, he's no longer with doTERRA, but will always be a friend and an amazing resource for all of us. Dr. Watts missed working with patients in his practice, and he will also be focusing on a more active role in the company he founded. Dr. Watts holds a doctorate of chiropractic medicine from Cleveland Chiropractic College and a BS/BA from Hawaii Pacific University. He has over 26 years of sales experience, and as a former teacher, I believe that the best sales are through education, and he is a tremendous educator. He and his wife, Bunny, are proud parents of 4 beautiful children, and it is just my great pleasure to welcome Dr. Watts. We are so excited to learn from you tonight.
Oh, and Dr. Watts, you know what? You are actually muted. I realized I didn't make you a co-host before. So I'm going to make you a co-host now so that you're always able to mute and unmute. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Well, thank you. I always kind of fidget when I come on calls and they start reading my bio. I'm like, thank you. It's appreciated. You're very sweet. I'm excited to be here with everybody. I love doTERRA. doTERRA is a great company. So many amazing people. This was my favorite part about working with doTERRA, honestly, was doing team calls and really working and educating all the wellness advocates. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys tonight about the 90-day program. So when Betty talked about the foundational medicine, when I came over to doTERRA, I kind of changed the name because we're not doing medicine here, but kind of changed it to more foundational wellness. And The two things that I term for like, and the reason why I term this the precursor to functional medicine is because functional medicine is like root cause treatment. You have some kind of disease or issue, and functional medicine doctors go in and they don't treat symptoms. They try to get to the root cause. And what I found early in practice is there was still something missing. I was going straight into treating. And for those that have heard me talk before, I use this analogy all the time. It kind of started, I started to feel kind of like a farmer who was walking out in his fields and just throwing seeds, right? Not very reliable on what the crop or harvest will be doing that. Who knows what the state of the terrain is. You can have a lot more success if you go in and you get the field ready first, right? And so I realized before I start treating any kind of patient or before I start working with anybody that has any kind of health issue, we need to work on the terrain first, the body. And there's two big elements in this foundational concept. One is, well, the main concept is the human body is a self-healing organism when our organs are functioning at an optimal level. And in my opinion, and in my experience, there's two main reasons that cause our organs to dysfunction. One is nutritional deficiencies. You know, we know that if we don't get the right vitamins and minerals and nutrients, one, we can't complete certain pathways. Like I always use the thyroid because it's a simple one, and I work with thyroid a lot. But a very simple example is, for those that are familiar with thyroid, T3, T4, the 3 and the 4 tell you how many iodine molecules are attached. So here's a simple example. If we are iodine deficient, we could actually have thyroid dysfunction, right? And so that's a perfect example of just a deficiency, right? Causing a dysfunction. The other one is toxicity or toxic burden. And I don't just mean toxic burden like you have heavy metal toxicity or mold toxicity, or you've been exposed to something. Also, there's emotional toxicity. And when we all know that when people are overstressed, what happens? Do our adrenals function properly? Of course they don't, right? We all know that. We especially here at doTERRA with some of the oils and blends that we have that help to treat with stress or help to, well, you know what? I'm not with doTERRA, so I'm not going to be as worried. Help treat some of the stress and anxiety, right? We already know that, but that there I term as an emotional toxin. And so we kind of already solved that before I left doTERRA with this great foundational wellness kit, right? And you have BMG that has all your vitamins and minerals and nutrients. You have the Omega, where we get our good essential fatty acids, and then the PB Restore, where we're getting microbiome, not just for the gut, but for 5 different organ systems. So we're really covering a lot with that foundational wellness kit. So now it's time to talk about the other part of foundational wellness or foundational medicine, depending on what space you're in. And that's detox or cleansing, right? And so let me actually, Betty, do you happen to have that? I have that, oh wait, I might have it on my computer. I thought I had it on my phone. I was going to pull up that, the picture, and then we're just going to get right into it. Let me see. I think I have it on my computer.
And Dr. Watts, if you don't, I believe I do. It's like the PDF graphic.
Yeah, that's exactly what it, give me 1 second. Sorry, I should have had this up already. Let's go here. You know what? If you can pull that up, that'd be great.
I sure can.
Yeah. Sorry for not having that up. So we've made this very, very simple, right? And the first thing and the most important part of detox, in my opinion, is the first month. For those that have gone through a cleanse or detox in the past, I'm sure there's a lot of people on this call that have done that and maybe have experienced some symptoms when they detox. A lot of people, oh yeah, detox, I have like some detox symptoms, like maybe you feel a little cruddy, like you have the flu. In some cases, and a little bit more worst cases, you can have where your skin starts to break out a little bit, or in some cases, people have broken out in full-blown hives when they detox. And so those that have experienced that obviously have trepidation coming into cleansing and detoxing because of an experience prior. But like anything in the human body, that is an alarm going off. And you have to think of it this way. As a chiropractor, we deal with like pain, right? A lot of pain. So that's your body's way of telling you every time you bend over this way, you have pain in the right side of your back. What a body's telling you is every time you bend over to the right, you're causing tiny bits of damage to that joint. So we need to get that fixed so you no longer continue to cause damage, right? And so no different with detox. The body's telling you something. Hey, if you're feeling cruddy or you're having skin issues, your body's telling you you're not ready for detox. So the most important part is we broke this into 3 months. Month 1, preparing the soil. Month 2, pulling the weeds. And month 3, water fertilizing. Or in other words, getting ready for detox, and then going back in and kind of replenishing the cells because we spent a good 30 days stressing them out a little bit, detoxing. So now we want to come back and kind of replenish those cells, right? So the most important part in month 1 is that our drainage pathways are open. And what drainage pathways I'm talking about specifically are your liver, your kidney, gallbladder, and your colon. Because when we start to detox, start pulling toxins out, it has to be able to get out of your body. And there's 3 ways that toxins will get out of your body. One is through urine, one is through feces. And the majority of the time, the bigger time is feces. And if it can't get out one of those 2 ways, then those toxins will start to push out through the skin. Or what will happen is those toxins sit in the colon, and then what will happen will be reabsorbed back into the bloodstream, making you feel like you have the flu or that you feel kind of crummy. So very important. 3 big things. 1, open detox pathways. 2, increase cellular energy. And 3, making sure that we're addressing nutritional support. As you can see, we have the foundational wellness bundle. So we have the nutritional support squared away. By including that PB Restore, we're helping to provide more help to the gut to help the gut be able to open up. Now, every once in a while, if you're struggling, because this is the rule of thumb, before you go into month 2, you have to be having on average 2 bowel movements daily. And for some people and some patients I've had in the past, that's their week is 2 bowel movements a week. So if this is you, make sure that you're opening up and that you're having 2 bowel movements a day. If for some reason you can't, you're probably going to need to add in another product that can really help to open that up so that you can flow better. Okay. Zendocrine complex is included in month 1 because that's going to help open our organ pathways like liver, gallbladder, and kidneys. The Mito2 Max, for those that have heard me talk about mitochondria in the past, this is how I explain it. I try to keep it really simple because at the end of the day, if everybody on this call can't leave here and feel pretty confident at kind of explaining this, then I have not done my job well. So here it goes. Mitochondria. A lot of people heard the term mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, right? That's what creates cellular energy. Or the actual scientific term is ATP, right? But in order to create ATP, we need mitochondria because our mitochondria within the cell create the ATP, which is energy. So here's very simple. Think of a fire pit, and the rocks are the same as the cell wall. The logs inside the fire pit are the mitochondria. The fire that comes off, or the energy, is the ATP, right? So logs, mitochondria, fire, ATP. The more logs we put on the fire, or the more mitochondria we get into the cells, the more energy we're going to create, or the bigger the fire is going to be, right? So that's why these products were specifically put into this program, okay? So that's month 1. So now we've got our nutrition, we're increasing cellular energy. So when we go into detox, our cells have the energy to really to go out and detox, and we're opening up our kidney and liver there. So now coming into month 2, this is the pulling the weeds phase. We maintain our foundational bundle and Zendocrine complex, and then we have a few more products here. Now this one here, I'm going to be candid. This is a little more robust than the original one I was teaching, but there's a reason why. On doTERRA right now, I believe you can go buy, if you Google or if you search bar month 1 and month 3, those will pull up as kits already. So there's no month 2. So what they did is they made the cleanse and restore kit the month 2. So that way you can buy each month as a bundle, not having to go and search and find everything. Okay. But that being said, everything that's in here is still good. And I'll explain why. Obviously, Terrazyme, that's just going to help increase and help us better digest and help to continue to have good flow right through the colon. We already have the Xenocrine complex. Now we're adding in a couple of cleansing products. One is Xenocrine soft gels, which is going to help to cleanse, detox your organs, and the GX Assist, which is a good gut detoxer. Obviously, lemon, DDR prime. I'm not going to go much into those, but they have great benefit in this month as well. Okay. Then after we spend a month doing this, now we come into month 3, continue our foundational wellness bundle. Oh, there is a month 2. Awesome. And now we add in the DDR prime and the MetaPower Advantage, right? We're really trying to really amp those cells up, right? Really nourish those cells and really give those cells greater turnover, greater support and energy and all sorts of different things. So we got the MetaPower Advantage with the collagen DDR prime, which is just, it's a great product. If you don't know about that, I'm not here to teach all the products per se tonight, but I mean, if you need to deep dive more and you don't understand DDR prime, that would be one I would suggest going in and really kind of digging in and seeing all of the potential health benefits of taking that as well. And so quick recap, 90 days, month 1, getting ready for detox by making sure we're not nutritionally deficient, increasing mitochondria and opening drainage pathways. Month 2, detox. Month 3, replenishing the cells, right? So preparing the soil, pulling the weeds, watering, fertilizing. After this, usually what people will do is just continue on foundational wellness, making sure that we continue with having our basic needs met from a foundational nutritional standpoint. Now, people may still have certain things they're working on with their health. And one of the cool things I was able to work with the education team while I was there was to build out some targeted solutions, some pre-bundled targeted solutions. I'm not sure where doTERRA is at right now. I believe there may be 2 or 3 online of targeted solutions, but if I remember correctly, we created 10 of them and they were going to be rolled out like 3 at a time. So I'm assuming by March or April, all of those targeted solutions will come out. In which case, say, we'll use an example for those who are familiar. You have the sleep system, right? So say whatever health issue happens to clear up doing the detox, but you're still struggling with sleep. Okay, well, now you have your foundational bundle and then you'll stack your sleep bundle or whatever it might be. And pay attention and look out for those bundles as they release them. I spent quite some time with helping to put those together and into actual little mini kits. So you can pull this off for now. It really doesn't take that long. It's really when you're teaching this class, I mean, it's 30 minutes. It's about what it takes to teach, and we're 21 minutes in. So that gives us a lot of time to answer questions so that when you guys are done from the call and you leave, you really truly feel empowered to go out and teach this. Like you're like, wow, okay, I get it. I don't have to be a Betty Torres or a Laura Jacobs or a Natalie Goddard, to be able to teach this. I might have just started yesterday, but you should still feel like you're empowered to be able to go out and teach this because it should be that simple. And if it's not, please, as we go into questions, ask some clarifying questions. So that way, and if you have that question, there's probably a good chance there's a handful of other people on this call that may have a similar question. So let's try to keep these questions kind of more to the protocol, questions on or anything with that. So that way you guys, like I said, the goal is leave here feeling like you could go teach this class tomorrow. You can pull up you can stop sharing this. And then if you guys want, we can go into Q&A. Betty, or unless you have some other questions and stuff you want to start off with before we get into Q&A.
I think it's probably a good idea for us to stop the recording before we go into Q&A. Just, because of some of the questions that could be asked. Gabriella, why don't you, and what I love that you just did that class in like 20 minutes. That's what we need. And it makes so much sense. And when you have the graphic and you have month 1, 2, and 3, the whole flow of it just makes so much sense. And then I think maybe one clarification, and maybe you did already clarify this, that after you're done with the 3 months, you then would continue with the foundational wellness bundle?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I mean, because that's your basic, your basic vitamins, minerals, fatty acids and microbiome product. That's just going to kind of help keep you above the baseline, right? Like you're ensuring that regardless of, we're not everybody's perfect with their diet all the time. And so this is one of those ways to ensure that you're getting everything you need, regardless of what your current situation is with your diet.
And what do you say to somebody that wants to start just with the foundational wellness bundle?
Well, at the reality of it is you're kind of doing that in month 1, other than we're adding 2 other little products. But no, that's a great thing too. You're going to have, that's not a bad way to start. Have somebody come in and get used to the foundational wellness bundle and have them try that for a month or so, see how they do that. Because here's the thing, when people have wins, when you have small wins with like a supplement or a product, and you all know this because you've had lots of wins especially with the oils, the belief in the person who's trying it increases massively, because they're seeing real differences in their body and in how they feel. And so not a bad thing to do, because then when you do start to do a 90-day detox, and like I said, it's 3 months, and then you got a number of products you're taking, you're going to be way more likely to become compliant all the way through, and sticking to it, because you've already felt the benefit of just being on the foundational wellness bundle. So yeah, you can start either way. Either way is good. I just always recommend, like my personal recommendation is to do this like once a year, whenever that is, but just to do it once a year. We're constantly exposed to toxins, and our body does not kick out toxins is like you think it should, because we're just inundated with toxins like everywhere, from our foods to, glyphosate is sprayed on just about everything you eat. And so very bad toxin. And then I could go deep rabbit holes for you, but the reality of it is we are exposed to a lot of different toxins. And so it's just a good rule of thumb to detox, annually.
Okay, so if somebody does start with just the foundational wellness bundle, what percentage of people do you think might need to add one of the other 2 products that are in that month 1? Like how many people are going to be
with
just
the foundational wellness
Yeah.
bundle?
Mhm.
So the one thing, and we realized this pretty early on, which made sense. We have the premethylated Bs, the B9 and B12 and the BMG. And that's for those that have the MTHFR genetic mutation where their body does not convert those. So methylated means basically you take in B9 or B12, your cells can't use it. So your body has to actually convert it to a usable form of B9 and 12 in order for the cells to use it. Same with the thyroid, right? It produces 93% of the hormone the thyroid produces is T4, but your cells can't use it. It has to be converted to T3 first. So what we did is to try to make this product a good product for everybody. We added they added the premethylated Bs in there. And then what we also found is that for those that do have methylation issues, some of them going straight into taking those methylated Bs, it almost like throws their body into detox, because methylation is a big part, methylation pathways are a big part of detox. And so now you go from not methylating very well to now you're over methylating. And there's been a few wellness advocates that were testing it out that they had to stop after 5 days and go back on LOV because they were feeling crummy. And I'm like, that shouldn't happen. And so we added Zendocrine complex, and actually this was Laura Jacobs and I were speaking about this not too much, like maybe a month after convention, and we were talking about this, and she said she had one of their people add Zendocrine complex to help support the liver, which is where a lot of the methylation happens. And she said, oh, they started feeling better. And as soon as she told me that, I was like, well, of course. Why? Of course. they need more liver support because now their liver is working better than it's used to, and it's kind of going a little bit overboard. And so if that's a good thing, is if you don't feel good for some reason when you're taking the VMG, it's not the VMG. It's like, it's not me, it's you. It's not the VMG, it's your terrain, because it shouldn't work for one person and not for another. So there's a good chance that you may have that genetic mutation. And just to put this in perspective, something like 40% of the population in the US has this genetic mutation, and 10% of that 40% are aware of it. So that means 90% of the people out there with this genetic mutation have no idea they even have it. And so if you start to feel anything like that, add in Zendocrine, and you should feel a difference pretty quickly. Now, we got feedback from one of the reps. I'm not going to say who it is, but she went on that, and she actually called Laura back a few days later. And I think there was a couple of things she says. One, what the heck? Is this real? And is this going to last? Because I feel amazing now. I was like, well, you just needed a little extra because you're dealing with that genetic mutation. And so that would be the one thing I would add in. I know that's a really long way to get to there, but I want to explain. If you understand the why, then you understand how to explain it to somebody who is experiencing that.
Okay, I think that's super important. Okay, so you also have in that month 1 of the detox, you have Mito 2 Max. And
Yes.
I have noticed that sometimes when you start somebody on something like the foundational wellness bundle, they will have like energy issues where they might, not have enough energy at that time. They'll be tired. So is that part of the reason why you're doing that in the first month?
Well, the energy is part of, well, no, that's not actually not specifically because of the foundational, because when we initially put this together, and they were beta testing it last year with a number of teams, we were using LLV. We weren't using foundational wellness bundle. And when I taught this same thing to teams in Australia, in Romania, it's not the products. That's why this concept of foundational wellness, of detox and nutritional supplementation, I proved this out in practice, and I brought this to the company I was at with Cellcore. Then I brought it over to doTERRA, and in each one of those scenarios, different products were used, because it's not necessarily about the specific product you're using. It's more about the concept. We're trying to deal with nutritional deficiencies. So whether you're using foundational wellness bundle or you're using LLV, you're covering that base. The only thing I say is if you are using LLV, it's, in my opinion, incomplete unless you add PB Restore to it. So that'd be the only thing. The Mito 2 Max, that really is to just really boost energy level, cellular energy as you're going. But for those that experience a crashed energy when you take VMG, you are an overmethylator and you have MTHFR, and you need to get on Zendocrine Complex. And within a few days, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of being on that, you should feel completely different taking that product.
Okay, so if we want to start people with just the foundational wellness bundle, sometimes when we're teaching classes, it's easier to, explain those 3 products and start people there, but to actually maybe prepare them in advance that they might notice that, if they notice any problems, and I don't know how you describe those problems, that we then have another product or 2 that we can add to them because they probably have what you've just described.
Yeah.
So, because I know some people are going to start just with the foundational wellness bundle. I really do like this idea of the first month of this detox to do that until you're having, like I think you said it tonight, the two bowel movements, right? Yeah. Before you move on to the next step.
Correct.
And it's really the foundational wellness bundle and just the additional products of the Mito 2 Max and the Zendocrine detoxification complex. All these Zendocrine products, it's hard to get them straight. But okay, so I think right now we're kind of finished with what the class would be, how we would talk to somebody about it. We have a lot of guests on here that are trying to figure out, like, where do I start? So I think that was a beautiful, simple explanation. We are going to have questions. So right now, I think a lot of you have gone ahead and put the questions in the chat. If you have additional questions that haven't been covered during the class, go ahead and send them directly to Dr. Watts. Gabrielle is going to make some announcements right now. And then after the announcements, we're going to stop the recording, and then we're going to have Dr. Watts, do the special perk for those of us who are here in person, and he's going to answer the questions for us. So with that, I'll turn it over to my lovely daughter, Gabriella.
Thank you, Mom. And actually, I'm going to ask one question that I've seen a lot of people write in the chat because I think it will be very nice to have it in the recording. Dr. Watts, a lot of people have asked, like, for example, I take the MetaPower collagen every day. Do I stop that during the months of the 90-day reset that don't call for it, even though I usually take it every day? Or same thing with like DDR Prime and so on. If there's a product that you personally are using daily, can you still continue it for the full 90 days, even if it's called for later and like only during a specific part of a specific month of the 90-day cleanse?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, you're fine to that. Just so you all know, like this, there was a question in here. For example, somebody is asking Mito 2 Max in month 1. Why not month 2? Actually, I recommend putting in month 2. I also there's this protocol was built with a couple of things in mind, right? I need to accomplish certain things. There's certain things that are non-negotiables in month 1, 2, and 3. Now, in my practice, I will have somebody on a mitochondrial product for all 90 days. When I'm building this, if you add products in, you also have to be a little bit price conscious too. So I was trying to build a system that I know would be effective, but also wouldn't have 8, 9 products in every month and cost $300-$400 a month. I was trying to keep it at, most people they're doing something like this, a couple $100 for 3 months, they can withstand. You start getting $300-$400, it really cuts a lot of people out. And so, yes, you can continue doing it. What I put in here is more of you need this. If you want to add more, you can, but this is the non-negotiables. But there were some things that, like I said, mine's a little more robust, but I'm treating some pretty sick patients. So I do things a little differently in practice than when it's more of a direct to retail type model.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, and Gabriella, just before you continue,
Yes.
Stephanie Fritz is on this call and she has a couple of comments. So can you allow her to come in?
Yes, of course.
I think you need to be a co-host. And I think many of you know Stephanie Fritz. She's a midwife, and she's the author of Pregnancy, Birth, and Babies. Just a really
Essential,
amazing book.
It's called Essential Oils for Pregnancy, Birth, and Babies.
Yes.
Thank you. I just love what you've talked about, Dr. Watts. And I just want to comment that one of the things that I personally have done, because I know that so many need that extra liver support, is I've given those clients, for me, it's clients, just a heads up when they start. And I let them know, you let me know right away how you're feeling on this VMG, because if you happen to have if you happen to not be feeling good on it, if you all of a sudden you notice you have low energy, let me know, because that tells me that, and then I go in to explain the MTHFR. And so I give them a heads up from the very beginning, let me know, because now I know after seeing this protocol that I would just start them off on Zenderkin detoxification. Right. But prior to this, I was like, let me know, because if you are one of those that it doesn't agree with in the beginning, we need to just add something to it. And so that way they're thinking when it comes time to, if this isn't working, if they're one that needs more support, they're not blaming it on the VMG. They're blaming it, oh, I must be one of those people, that one of those 40% that don't know that I have that MTHFR factor. And so I set them up from the very beginning that, so they're not dissing the product. Oh, this didn't work for me. I'm setting them up for, oh, I must be one of those that needs the extra support. And so I love that you set that up from the very beginning. I probably am going to change the way I'm doing things now and set everybody up on that, just so we have 100% success. And so anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. I love this. I love the new protocol. I'm so sad that you are gone, but I'm following you still, and all is well.
Well, thank you. That is one for those that saw me speak in Hawaii or in Minnesota. That's one of the first things I say, because people,
Mhm.
obviously people see me as a doctor, but before I was a doctor, I was in sales for years, and I've been in sales for a lot of years. And so they're setting the stage, and it's exactly what you said. I always tell people, a new customer, if they're taking BMG, what a potential issue could be with low energy or this or that. And if that's the case, then there is a very high likelihood that you have this genetic mutation. So then if they do experience it, what happens is, if I experience it and you didn't tell me that, I'm done taking the product. You probably lost a customer. I'm probably not trying something else again. But when you are upfront about it and you let them know, hey, these are possible things that can happen. Now, when it happens to me, my focus is on, oh my gosh, I have a genetic mutation I didn't know about. My focus isn't on this product isn't any good, because it's not the product, it's you. It's your body, it's your terrain, right? And so it's a great way to set that up and to prepare your people ahead of time. And I had a couple people, I had someone in here asking, did I say over methylate or under methylate? MTHFR patients under methylate, but when they start taking methylated Bs, that can kick them into over methylating now. So you go from under to over, which just kind of crashes your system, because it's really putting your liver in overtime, and in some cases it can kind of kick you into a bit of detox. So that's the thing. So you can go from under to over, and then you get that liver support, then it can help to balance it so you can really utilize those. The other question somebody said was about LLV. Here's the deal. If you didn't feel that way on LLV, there's a reason. They don't have methylated Bs in the LLV, not the old one. It was only in the vegan microplex. To my understanding, they're not discontinuing LLV, but they're going to discontinue the microplex, the regular microplex, and have just one microplex, which will be the vegan microplex. So either way, you're getting methylated Bs, whether you're doing LLV or whether you're doing foundational wellness bundle. And so if you're one of those that, well, I didn't experience that on this, well, that's more than I would assume you were taking regular LLV then, if you didn't experience that.
Okay, so this has been so great. I'm kind of thinking maybe we don't need to do a separate Q&A, because you are so good at answering these questions in such a compliant way. And that's the only thing we worry about taking questions
Right.
during class, is because of compliance. But if there are questions there that you believe, could be included in the class,
Yeah.
it would be great for us to have it in the recording.
Well, you know what? I mean, you can just keep it, because the reality is we're not diving into personal health issues and how to fix those, right? We're just talking, this is going to be more questions about how detox works. So this should all be very compliant.
Great.
And if for some reason we dive into some non-compliant questions, and then we'll just stop the recording at that point.
Okay, sounds perfect.
Let's see. Well, I'm just going to tell you all, if you have questions, now's the time to start putting them in, because if you put a question on here before, there's probably so far up the chat, it's going to be hard to find.
Send privately to
cow.
Dr. Watts. That way he sees those more easily.
Let's see here. Let's try to get down here. Okay, what about binders? Okay, we didn't talk about binders. Well, doTERRA doesn't have, we don't have any, you guys don't have any binders at doTERRA yet. I'm not sure what is in the future, but for those, this is one thing that is not included in this, just because doTERRA doesn't have that product. So if you are looking for a binder, I usually send people, there's a number of companies that do it. You can go get a binder at Cellcore. You can get a binder at motherearthlabs.com. They have a really good binder. It's called Humic Fulvic. And I recommend the capsules. So that's, if you're looking for a binder, that's a really good binder. If you are really struggling with stomach stuff, like I saw someone put in here that they have 4 to 5 bowel movements a week. You need to be that 2 a day before you go to detox. So if that's you, there is a really amazing product. I think you can buy it on Amazon, called Oxy Powder, OXI, and that will open up your colon like that. And so if you struggle with that, that might be something to add into month 2, so that you're maintaining the open colon. So let's see, what other question? Well, let's go quick here. 90, you do the binder in month 2, and really you could do it, you can keep it in month 3 as well, to kind of finish clearing out debris, but definitely month 2 if you're doing a binder. Let's see, yep, you have the hemophobic, yep. And just so someone said, what causes 2 bowel movements? I'm regular with 1. Well, that's not regular. Just so everybody is very aware, healthy regular is a bowel movement within an hour or 2 of every meal. So if you only have 2 meals a day, then you are regular with 2 bowel movements. If you have 1, then you're regular with 1 bowel movement. And if you're that person, there's something else going on more than likely. You probably really need to do some work on your gut, really flooding that gut with really good probiotics. So I'd probably add extra. I'd probably add PB Assist on top of PB Restore, because PB Assist is specifically for the gut, whereas PB Restore is a broad one for 5 different organs. So if that's you, definitely add in more probiotics.
And I see a question here that somebody, and I'm not sure if this has been addressed yet, but curious about PB Restore the same month as GX. In the past, that has not been recommended.
Yeah, it was misunderstood. And so here's the deal. You have, the reality of it is, if you go look at, I'll challenge you to do this. We'll keep this compliant. Go look at all the oils in the GX Assist, and then go to pubmed.org or .gov and look up those oils and how those oils influence nematodes. That word specifically.
What was that word?
Nematode, just like phonetically spelled.
Okay, I'm going to give it a try. Or maybe Stephanie knows how to spell that.
There's a pub, I'll just tell you, actually, if you really want, Betty, I'll find it and send it to you. There's a PubMed, there's a peer-reviewed research that talks about some specific essential oils being very effective at addressing very specific toxins in the gut.
Okay.
As far as a PB Assist and PB Restore, you got to realize PB Restore also has bacteria killers in it with the bacteriophages. Those bacteriophages are like little viruses, and they go and gobble up. And so not only are you putting good bacteria in, but you have the bacteriophages that are also going in to try to help clean up and clear out bad bacteria. So together, this is how I tell you to take them. You don't take them at the same time. So if you're taking your GX Assist in the morning, then you take your PB Restore in the afternoon or evening. Or if you take your PB Restore morning and evening, then you take, well, actually you shouldn't take it in the evening, but you just take it away. You take it at least a couple hours away from each other, and you're fine. You're good to go.
Okay, and maybe Stephanie, do you have anything to add to that? Because that's always a big controversy, whether to use those 2 together.
Like you said, I just recommend not at the same time of the day taking them, but still you need them both. You need that support at the same time that you're detoxing. And I just also want to address one question that was asked about detoxing while pregnant or breastfeeding. And I don't recommend it. Not only because, I mean, you have different elimination channels than your uterus or your breasts, but your body is also being taxed being pregnant and breastfeeding, and you don't need to do them all at the same time. So I just say avoid it and do that for later on.
Totally agree, because especially if you're breastfeeding, or you both pregnant or breastfeeding, your baby's getting that too. And I know that for a fact, because I had a doctor friend of mine who was doing a parasite protocol, or was going to, and asked me, she was breastfeeding, and I said, well, I don't recommend breastfeeding or pregnant, but you're a doctor, so you can make your own decision. And she decided to do it anyways, and do it lightly. You want to stop the recording real quick?
Gabriella, just pause it and then we can start it up again.
Yes, I'm going to pause it, and I hope I don't mess this up. So 1 second, let's see. Okay.
Recording stopped.
has been paused?
She saw very quickly her 9-month-old, when she started changing diapers, she suddenly saw lots of pinworms in her daughter's diaper. So it just went to prove that you're detoxing, your baby is going to detox as well. And so that's usually why I don't recommend that. I'm with you as that as well. Now, that being said, I've worked with basically probably just about any of the big influencers you guys see on Instagram. I've worked with them for years. I know a lot of them. I've seen a lot of especially these women health. One of my partners in a company I'm in now, she's a big online medical doctor influencer, Dr. Jess, MD. She's big in like women's health and hormones and stuff. And one thing that we found pretty consistent across most of the functional medicine doctors we work with, when they started doing these detox protocols on women with infertility issues, they very easily, women that had very difficult time getting pregnant were having an easy time getting pregnant after they had gone through the detox. Now, let's back that up and take it back what I said at the beginning of the call. My opinion, the cause of all disease is one of two things: nutritional deficiency or toxic burden, which cause organ dysfunction, right? If you cannot get pregnant, there's organ dysfunction, whether it's the organs that are creating your hormones that aren't functioning properly, or whether it's actually, sex hormones, whatever, or sex, uterus, like different organs in the body, or if it's just the pathways. But a lot of women have had very good success getting pregnant after detoxing and clearing their body. Now their body is able to do what it was meant to do.
And I love that Stephanie is just like nodding her head all over the place here. She's agreeing with it because it's exactly what she teaches when she teaches the classes. And then I want to do a special thank you.
Is someone that has cancer, is it safe to cleanse? Yes. And since we're not recording, a good portion of cancer, a big portion of cancer, is not what we think it is. It's not just some random glump of cells. It's a cyst sac of parasites. And so there's a reason why you're seeing the studies coming out now about fenbendazole, which is an antiparasitic, completely curing stage 4 colon cancer. And now you're seeing actual peer-reviewed studies with fenbendazole affecting pancreatic and colon cancer. Well, why is the antiparasitic killing the cancer? It's not. It's killing the parasites that are in the colon that are being mistaken for cancer. Now, this here is not, now that we're not recording here, it's the oils. Nematodes are parasites. But if you look up essential oils and nematodes, when you look into PubMed, it'll pull up that article, and like 5 of the oils on the back of there, on the back of GX Assist, in that study, it tells you specifically which oil and what type of parasite it kills. Is it killing a strongyloides? Is it killing pinworms, tapeworms? And so I venture to say that that product was developed with some things in mind.
Wow. Okay. And Gabriella, before you unpause, I want to give a special thank you to Alicia Hogstead, who's a naturopathic doctor, and she's been answering a lot of the questions in the chat. So thank you for that. I mean, my gosh, what a class. So with that, if you want to go ahead and turn back on the recording, Dr. Watts, you might have a few more questions, and I think we can probably, go with the final announcements and just go ahead and call it a night.
Okay. So
Recording in progress.
So there's a question here. Somebody's taken the GI, it's a GI gut product, but this is the GI Pro Max from Mother Earth Labs, which is a gut repair product. It helps to repair the gut lining and does all sorts of stuff. Should I wait to do that after month 2? No, that's a product I have. If you're taking that, that's a product you stay on that all 3 months. You're on it the entire time, along with your foundational protocol. That's if you're already taking that product. I'm not saying go out and get it. I'm just saying that if you're taking that, you can continue to take it the whole time. And I recommend you continue to take it that way. Let's see what else. Other questions. Sorry, these things come through so quick.
And Dr. Watts, one that I've seen a few times is like, what is an age that like can children do this detox, or what is the age that you would say somebody could start this if they're younger?
So this detox specifically, which would be different than in my practice. In my practice, could I have a toddler detoxing? I can, and I would, but under my supervision. This detox was not built for that. This is built for, is a little more, it's broad. This really hits the 80% of the population, right? And so I don't really recommend, I mean, adolescent, yeah, toddler, no, I wouldn't really do that. But my general rule of thumb with any supplements is if the child is adult size, meaning like teenagers, adult size, normal dose, adolescent, half dose, toddler, quarter dose. But that's just any supplement for that matter. But no, if you have a toddler that has some stuff going on, I do not recommend you detoxing them at all, ever. If it's a concern, get with a health practitioner, because that's something that has to be very specific. In like me, I'm not going to put somebody, a kid like that, on some broad detox. I'm finding out what is it that we're looking at, and we're dialing that specific little thing in and working on one little thing at a time. And it's very, and I'll run blood panels and stuff to verify, hey, this child does have mold toxicity. So we're going to work on this. And then you go, it's slow. You go slow. But just don't detox your kid, please. Just work with a doctor or a practitioner, an FDN, an NTP, whatever. Work with a practitioner that has experience doing this. If you have that concern, please. Let's see. Can BMG cause an increase in gas? Yeah, I mean, potentially. Now you're going to ask me what's causing that. I couldn't even guess, because there's like 7,000 ingredients in that product. So which ingredient is causing that? It could be a number of reasons. What would you use as an alternative to endocrine complex? Well, yeah, milk thistle is very good. If I'm not using endocrine complex and you have to get a product outside of doTERRA, I'm going to be biased here. My product's the best product there is, not even close. But Xenocrin works for most people. It's a good liver cleanser. Mine's more clinical, so it's a little more heavy duty. And so, let's see. Expirable juices, can we use them? Oh yeah, can you use an expired bottle? Well, just so you know, just every bottle has to have an expiration date or a made from date or whatever. So whether it's expired or not, I mean, that's a decision you have to make. I have no problem taking expired supplements. I mean, so I wouldn't throw it away personally. Call that. Hang on. Let's see. I will get that PubMed article to Betty. I will make sure to pass that on to her for whoever asked that question. I know the GX says take it 10 days on, 10 days off, or whatever that might be. If you are taking Xenocrin with the GX Assist, then you can take it for the 30 days. If you're not taking Xenocrin, then you do need to cycle on and off. Because you got to realize everything that you're killing or binding has to still go through the liver. So you got a lot of die-off in there. It's no different. I look at GX Assist and I treat that the same way as I would treat fenbendazole. You have to be on a really good liver support product and you have to cycle. Otherwise, you can end up like a patient of mine that wanted to be on fenbendazole for a month and their liver enzymes went up to 500. So as soon as we got them off it and got them on Xenocrin specifically, actually, within a week, the numbers came down to 100. And then by the next week, they're right back to normal, which just told me that there was way too much die-off and they weren't supporting the liver. And so, but yeah, sorry. I know some of these are long route. Whoops. This is a good one here. Because you give me heartburn. How can you? Where was it? Somebody asked something about acid reflux. Mycotoxins can be eliminated. The humic and fulvic bind mycotoxins. Humic specifically binds mold in the GI and fulvic systemically. No, fenbendazole, ivermectin are two different things. And these are both neither one of those are supplements, just so people are aware. They're if you get you need either a prescription or you can go online and buy it apparently now. And actually you can buy I think it's called Parapurge. I don't know. It's a company that it seems like every 3 weeks the label's the same, but the name changes. It was like Paragon, then Paragonix, and Parapurge. It's ivermectin fenbendazole combo. But if you're doing that, I would not do that in this 90-day. I'm just going to tell you that if you're trying to do a specific parasite protocol like detox, I would do that outside of this one here, because there's a lot more to it than you can't purge parasites in 30 days. I'll just let you know that you can't purge them in 2 weeks. It's a 3-month deal. And it's a little more entailed. So I usually don't bring it in here, but for those that are interested, and if you guys want to something put together, I can put together a parasite protocol outside of this. But yeah, it's not for this detox specifically. You will get some die-off, but if you're looking to do a complete parasite die-off, you need to do a more heavy duty protocol. Let's see. What for mycotoxins? Here, I'll just put it in the feed. So that humic, fulvic. Oh, that may have gone direct message. Sorry. Bobby, whoever that is, you got a direct message from me. Humic and fulvic. This has a bunch of research too. You can Google humic and fulvic acid. We're having yes, you can take, like I just said, you can take the GXS for 30 days, but only if you are also taking azenaquin complex. Fenbendazole, ivermectin, they're two different antiparasitics. And so for the question that are they the same? No, they're similar, but they're different. Thyroid, nope. If you can do this if you don't have a thyroid. Let me, sorry. If we're getting kind of more, people are starting to ask all these parasite stuff. So I don't want to dive into that on this call here, but just to let you all know, one of the things, like I said, I really enjoy educating. I really enjoy working with people, and I also enjoy being unplugged. I'll tell you that. So I'm going to be starting in February. I'm going to be rolling out a podcast, which is fine. But really what I'm going to be doing that's exciting is I'm going to be doing once a month. It's going to be live with Dr. Vaughn Unplugged. And it's going to be like a Zoom call where I'll go through and talk about a very specific health issue. Maybe we're talking about gut microbiome, or we're talking about Hashimoto's, or whatever it might be. It won't be, just so you're aware, it will not be, we won't diving product specific, or we're talking condition specific. And then at the end, it'll be the opportunity to ask live questions. And I can be as free to answer those questions as I like. So that'll be starting here in February. I'll be announcing that on my Facebook and also on Instagram, Doc Vaughn on Instagram, and it's VOHN for those that don't know. Or if you really have some bigger questions, you can get my email is foundational at drvaughn.com, drvohn.com. So that's how you can keep up, or if you have some little more deep dive questions that probably aren't as appropriate for this call, that's how you can find me. But like I said, I'll be announcing some of these things, and it's all free, all the education, the live with the doc, that's going to be free. For me, it's more, I'm not doing this now. Before doTERRA hired me, I was kind of semi-retired. So I do this now for purpose, not for money. And so my mission is to get the truth out. And luckily we're in a time now with, regardless of political belief, I couldn't care less about politics. But one thing I do like is I do like how the landscape is changing. Hopefully with RFK coming in and all these health things that us natural doctors have been talking about for decades, which we have been treated less than kindly. Like leaky gut's a perfect example. Natural doctors have been talking about that for 30, 40 years. And it's been just the last 10 years where the medical community finally accepted it and teach it in school. And so a lot of these things, that's what I want to do, is get out the truth. You want to know what? You want to know the truth? Let's talk about metformin. Let's talk about cholesterol meds. Let's talk about all these things. These are the kind of things that I'll be educating on, just to get the truth about health out there. So be looking for that. But like I said, I'll be, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you don't have to, but I mean, that's where I'll make those announcements and get those dates out.
Okay, that's wonderful. And I think I got everything that you were saying. I got the email, I got the Instagram, and I got the live with, the live podcast. All of that is in the chat. So we just appreciate so much the education, and we're just so hungry for it. And we have a community of people here like Stephanie and Alicia and just so many others that I see on here that just want to help people. And Dr. Watts, we are going to miss you so much in doTERRA, but it is not the end of us being a part of each other's lives. We're all going to, be following you and learning from you. And it's, we'll be able to share the information with other people and help them as well. So if you want to stay plugged into classes like this one, we do them every single Wednesday night. As a matter of fact, there's a lady by the name of Sandy Posernich who is absolutely the most wonderful person. She is so consistent, and she has a lineup already. She has this next 6 months of Wednesday nights filled with incredible topics and different presenters. And so we thank her from the bottom of our hearts for doing what she does. Her commitment to all of us is just unbelievable. So thank you to Sandy, and thank you to Dr. Watts, Stephanie, Fritz, Alicia. And now I'm going to turn it over to Gabriella, who's going to tell you how you can stay connected to all of this information. Everyone is always invited to all of our classes. Anything that we do is wide open to everyone in doTERRA. So Gabriella, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mom. And thank you so much, Dr. Watts, for sharing everything with us. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you. And we've had a lot of questions in the chat, like, how do I get that graphic that we shared at the beginning? So here it is. You can take a screenshot here. If you scan this QR code in red, that will give you the graphic in a PDF download. If you download the one in blue, that's going to be written instructions. And Mom, I hope you don't mind, I shared the written instructions that you created. And you can tweak that if needed. But if you want like a set of written instructions, they're in that QR code in blue. You can also use the bit.ly links. Keep in mind, bit.ly links are case sensitive. So like in red, it would be bit.ly/reset with a capital R, graphic with a capital G. Or you can just screenshot this and then get the QR code, get it from the QR code. And Dr. Watts did touch on this. There are reset kits that you can easily purchase on the doTERRA website, rather than having to look at the graphic and add each individual item, and you might accidentally forget something. You can just go to doTERRA.com, go into your account, and you can search. You can use the search bar. You can just search reset or 90-day reset. Really, any of those will work. And then all three of these kits will pop up. And all you have to do is select the correct kit, whatever month you're on. And I know a lot of people were, at first we weren't sure, we were missing a month 2 because month 2 is the cleanse and restore kit. But now they have it also listed as a 90-day reset month 2 kit. So you have all 3 months available that you can easily add to your cart. And like my mom said, Sandy Posernich usually hosts these Wednesday night continuing education classes, and she really does such an amazing job lining up the speakers and making sure that the class goes smoothly every single week. So we just wanted to give her a little extra shout out. We love and appreciate you so much, Sandy. And because Sandy is so amazing, she sent me some graphics to share before this class. So here we have January specials, we still have a couple days left of January. So I'm going to share both January and February, just because in case you are planning to place an order soon, we want you to know what's going on so you don't miss out on anything. So in January, you can get 10% off ginger oil. This oil is great for digestion. It's great for if you get like nauseous feelings from maybe like car rides or boat rides. You can also use it in recipes, which is great because I never have actual ginger, not in oil form in my house, but I always have the oil. And then the next one is actually not a promo, but a new permanent product. So MetaPower Advantage, which is our collagen, this is a product that you use in month 3 of the 90-day reset, but it's now available permanently in a new flavor. So the original flavor is like a citrus. This is pomegranate cherry. So now you have 2 options. When you get to that part of the reset, you can choose if you want the citrus or the cherry, the pomegranate cherry flavor. I personally am very excited. We've had this in the past as a limited edition. I fell in love with it and was so sad when it was gone. I was like texting my mom and sister saying, do you guys have extra? I'll trade you. I'll get it. I'll send you a citrus. So I'm so happy that we can get this all the time because it tastes so good. And then here we have the February specials. So in February, which starts on Saturday, you can get a free 5 ml MetaPower oil. All you have to do is place a 125 PV LRP order by the 15th. And this is a great oil for your metabolism, for curbing like sugar cravings, and it just tastes really good in your drinking water too. So that's an easy way to get it in your system. And then in February, you can also get 10% off Adaptive Oil, which is our calming blend. This is one of my all-time favorite oils. So I'm really looking forward to stocking up on it while it's on sale. It's just great for life's stressful moments. So those are the specials. And I know Betty had touched on the continuing ed classes every Wednesday. So Sandy hosts those weekly. It's always on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central. It's always the same time, same meeting ID, same password. And like we said, we have rotating speakers each week. And it's, varying topics every week too. So the information is always fresh and new. And next Wednesday, we have Diamond Leader Joyce Ann Day speaking about movement and wellness. So please come. Seriously, we said everyone is welcome. It doesn't matter if you are on Betty's team or Sandy's team or some other team. We are all one doTERRA family. And we love inviting and opening these classes up to everyone so that each class has an even greater impact. So please come and feel free to invite other people as well. And you can even graduate from our continuing education program by attending 10 live classes in 2025. So when you graduate, you'll get a certificate and you can choose between 2 emotional aromatherapy touch oils or a doTERRA teachable course. And we are very grateful to Betty Torres for generously providing these prizes to everyone. Thank you so much, Mom. And all you have to do is complete a Google form after the live class, which I will share in a moment because tonight's class counts. You just have to fill out that form. And here's just a quick at a glance of all of our February speakers. So in addition to Joyce Ann, we have Marie Vanderzee speaking about kind of a Valentine's Day themed class around Valentine's Day. We have Dr. Caitlin, who's going to be sharing about immune health. And then closing out the month, we have PJ Hanks, and she's going to be talking about using essential oils. So it's going to be a very great educational month. All right, so in order for tonight's class to count towards graduation, be sure to fill out the Google form by scanning the QR code on the left, or you can also use the bit.ly link. Everyone is welcome to do this. It will only take you a minute to complete the form, and we leave it open for about an hour after the live class. So if you need to do it after the class, that's fine as well. Just save this information. And if you want to check on how close you are to graduating, we're still early on in the year, but if you want to check how close you are, if you've already attended some of the classes in 2025, you can check that using the QR code on the right. We also have a permanent library filled with a really amazing selection of class recordings from past continuing education classes and a few other helpful class recordings to have on hand. Some of them include like an Essential Oils Made Easy class, a MetaPower class, and we also have a foundational wellness class in there with Dr. Watts from last month. So if you missed that, make sure to go to the permanent library and watch that when you have a chance. This library will always be available, and we will periodically make updates to the classes within the library. So you can just scan the QR code to access it. All right, and we also get a lot of questions about how do I get the recording from tonight's class. So there are a couple ways that you can access it. This class, it says on here, it will be available in about 48 hours. I'm going to make sure that we have it available by tomorrow, because I know a lot of people wanted to get on this and some people weren't able to. So we just want you to be able to easily share it. We'll have it posted tomorrow to the Discover Essentials Facebook group, which is the QR code and link on the left. Everybody's welcome to this group. It's an online wellness community where we share these class recordings, upcoming events, oil and wellness education, and so much more. So please join if you aren't already a member. And once the recording is available, we will pin it to the featured tab and also put it in a guide. It goes in guide 2, which is our guide for continuing education. So that's where you can find it in the Facebook group. If you would like to receive an email of the recording, join our email list, which is the QR code on the right. This will also opt you into reminders and recordings for future continuing education classes. So if this kind of class is something you are wanting more of, be sure to join the email list. And that's it for announcements. Before we stop the recording, Mom, is there anything that you would like to add?
I see in the chat that somebody would like to see the let's see, they want to see the QR code to something. So they want you to go back to track the progress. So just go back to that page where they fill out the form for attendance. And again, it doesn't matter what team you're on, you can graduate, just for attending 10 classes. So we just love that. We just want to educate everybody. So, okay. So basically this is a wrap. This was just an amazing class. And I learned so much yet again from Dr. Watts. I think it would be wonderful for us we'll stop the recording, and then we're going to give everybody an opportunity to say goodnight to Dr. Watts and express their appreciation.
Recording stopped.
Right, the recording has been stopped, and now I need to unmute everybody. All right, there you go.
Thank you, Dr. Watts.
Thank
you.
you.
Amelia.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Yes.
Watts.
Thank you so much.
Something new,
Thank you,
Dr.
Dr. Watts.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Dr.
That
Watts.
was an amazing class.
Appreciate it.
Good for your podcast.
Super appreciate it.
Super
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
That was amazing.
Gonna miss Dr. Mark.